So welcome everybody to, I think, the second of our sessions of interviewing hiring managers. And I'm John Brown, I'm the head of talent here at ENSEK. And today I'm in discussion with Aaron Stevenson, who is our Director of Architecture, just to get your title right there, Aaron. So these are pretty informal, essentially me firing questions at you just to find out a little bit more about our architecture roles and to bring the job spec to life a little bit, if you like. So normally I wouldn't go into people's backgrounds and history too much, but you're slightly different to everybody else because you're one of the founders of our business. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you started the business and who with?
Yeah, sure. Started the business 11 years ago now with John, who's the CEO, and James Kirk, the CTO. So had a great idea. Gave up the day job, and essentially we had no funding and no customers, but believed in the idea, and spent the first kind of 6 months or so building out the platform, building out the product in my back bedroom at the time. In fact, my girlfriend's back bedroom as it was at the time. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. I've kind of gone from strength to strength there. Slow success, I think, in the start with a product that was a great idea but quite difficult to sell. But I think what ENSEK's been really good at throughout time and even now really is spotting what's working well, spotting what's not working well, and pivoting and changing the business as we needed to. So what we do now is quite a long way away from what we thought we were going to do, and yeah, that continues now that we spot what's working, do more of that, and do less of the stuff that causes us pain or it isn't well received.
Yeah, and I know we were just before we came on air here, we were talking about the new office. It seems strange to go from your back bedroom to a brand new office.
Yeah,
with 200 people and room to fit everybody in.
Yeah, certainly been a roller coaster ride, and it doesn't feel like there've been many easy days in amongst that, but to kind of look back or even look at where we are now and look at the opportunities ahead of us, it's quite an achievement, and something we're all really proud of. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're going to recruit a number of architects, aren't we, into our team? Potentially 4 on the list, with 1 being Australian, if we could find that for our big client over there, and 3 over here at least. And I suspect I think we always say if we find really good people, we can usually find a space anyway, can't we, for those?
Yeah.
Is it worth just talking about what you think the sort of fundamentals are of anybody who wants to think about joining as an architect? What would they need and what would we look for from them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think an architect at ENSEK will have many hats, but I think fundamentally what our clients like about us is we're not just consultants. I'll say just in inverted commas there, to not be insulting to people who do a really good job of the consultancy side of things, but we're kind of grounded in technology and finding the best ways to use technology to meet our customers' needs, and often needs that they don't realise that they've got, but that we've spotted through kind of combination of the sector expertise, and we've got lots of great experts in the business in the energy sector and others now, other sectors. But yes, I think someone that's grounded and in kind of hands-on technology background will do well, and I think that's important for our clients to trust and build that trust that we can not just talk the talk, but actually deliver and show them the best way to get the use out of the platform.
Yeah, and just while I think about it, quite a few people ask about, because we're AWS, aren't we, partnered with AWS?
Yeah.
Quite a lot of people ask about whether they have to have that background or whether it could be something else. What do you think?
Yeah, no, not necessarily. I think it certainly helps. There are lots of things to learn, I think. So energy can be a bit weird, so there's a bit of a learning curve there. That AWS has its own sort of learning curve, so it certainly helps. But I think what's more important is an understanding of the principles of what it means to build sort of enterprise class, scalable, and modern software. Building software in the cloud and not just kind of setting up a virtual machine and running kind of standard infrastructure in the cloud, but actually using the platform services at scale introduces a whole set of new challenges. So I think someone who has experience of those challenges and how to solve them will certainly do well and will certainly help us to overcome some of them, because we've not solved everything. Yeah, I think what is helpful, and I think we'll come on to this in a moment, but we've got different types of architects, but certainly the sort of more hands-on architects, some knowledge of .NET, C#, and sort of Microsoft technologies is helpful, because the majority of the stack is built in that technology.
Yeah.
So that's kind of probably more important than the AWS side of things, really. Yeah.
Good, yeah, and I know we discussed it yesterday. There's an opportunity. We're offering everybody in engineering the opportunity to get trained up in the AWS skill set, and we're paying for that and supporting that. Which I'd forgotten to mention to people. It's quite a big deal, isn't it? Really, but we've
yeah, exactly. It's and AWS is evolving all the time, so there aren't many people who've got kind of deep knowledge of all of the services. They seem to launch 10 new products a day, so. Yeah, I think the training and keeping current with that stuff is more important than being an expert in everything on AWS at the moment.
Good. I think that will resonate with people who are looking at the video here and thinking about joining us. So yeah, it'd be a good time, wouldn't it, to talk about those. You think there's 3 different types of architect we're looking for, don't you? Good to talk about those.
Yeah, I guess when we started recruiting for this role, we have a small pool of architects at the moment, and as I said, they wear many hats, and like myself, really, I've been around with ENSEK for quite a while, and inherently then know lots about all the different areas of the system, the reasons why some things are done the way that they have been done. And it's probably unfair to expect to recruit someone in that fits that same mold across the various different kind of facets of the business. So what we tried to think about was what the types of architect that we want to hire, and yeah, we came up with kind of 3 categories, and then by no means someone would sit in one of those and never move and never do any of the other. It was more just a bit of a guide, really, for the types of people that we want to recruit. So the first was that there's a lot of customer facing activity, so we have lots of clients. Increasingly, we have some larger clients who bring with them potentially armies of architects and senior engineers who've all got questions and ideas that they want to discuss with us. And that spans from pre-sales through sort of onboarding and sort of in-life support of the product, and how to get the best out of it, or where the customer's got a new idea, how do they work with us to make that a reality. And that's a particular skill set, I think, being able to talk to a client and build that rapport with them, and it's something that some people love, some people hate, and it's by no means a must-have for all of our architects, but it's obviously certainly a part of the job that we need to find more people that are good at.
Yeah, and would that, just on that one, would that stretch from we've got now big global clients, haven't we, who are multinationals that people will be familiar with, but right down to the smaller ones still? Would it be a big combo?
Yeah, it is quite a spectrum. So that might be talking to the owner of a smaller supplier who's got an idea or got a problem and wants to discuss it with us, or it might be one of our larger clients, as you say, so international, large-scale clients with millions of customers who have a different sort of challenge. But increasingly, actually, whilst our customers have typically been customer service directors or operations, kind of heads of operations, increasingly now our customers are the technical arms of a business, so the IT department or the architects within these larger organizations who are looking at integration projects. So it's facing off to those counterparts in our customers, but also we're increasing the use of partners, so system integrators or other kind of third parties that we work with. So again, a different type of customer, if you like, that's very, very technical and looking at kind of the best way to package up a solution to then take to our clients.
Okay. So that's number one, isn't it? Client-facing one.
That's number one, yeah. I think a second area is almost the opposite of that, I guess, which is the more internally facing. How do we make the platform, the kind of the core chassis of the platform, if you like, as scalable and maintainable and performant as it can be. So that's about using the AWS sort of cloud infrastructure to the best of its capability, making sure that we're moving the platform as new versions of different technologies are released, solving performance bottlenecks, and making sure that the rest of the business really is enabled by having a robust set of tooling and sort of infrastructure that supports the evolution of the products that we sell. So that's kind of like the cloud engineering or the core platform part of the system, so that we don't end up solving the same problem 20 times as each of the products. So we have a number of products, and we'll come on to that in a second for the third kind of category, that they've all got a consistent security and audit and scalability framework to sit within.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then, yeah, the third category is more about technical ownership and leadership of the products that we sell. So, for example, our billing product, our energy, our UK energy integration product, our payments product, our credit management products, that they all need technical direction. They've all got business ownership, but I think having that person or people who live and breathe where's that headed, what's the strategic direction, and what's next on the horizon from a technical point of view for our billing product, is a different skill set again to the other two, and something that is really important to us, that we start to spread the knowledge and create that autonomy and ownership of the product, so they can so that the business can scale, and we've not got a few people worrying about all of those things.
Yeah. Okay. So one very client-facing one core infrastructure type person, and one product-led, probably a bit closer to our engineering teams and team leads and people like that, a little bit more technical hands-on. Yeah, great, good, that makes sense. I want to ask the last thing from my point of view before I'll ask you if there's anything else you wanted to cover afterwards. But what do you think? So there's people watching who are thinking about applying for a role as an architect here, solutions architect, all of those three that we discussed. What do you think what would make them jump ship, do you think, and say, yeah, I like the sound of that? What are the key things that really would pull someone into ENSEK?
Yeah, sure. So I think we've grown very fast, and we continue to grow very fast. It's probably not quite doubling every year, but it feels like it. And I think what we have managed to maintain is the directors and the senior management are all very hands-on and very keen not to get bogged down in bureaucracy. So I think if we have an idea, we'll make sure it's sensible, and we'll make sure we're not going to upset other things that are in flight, but we can largely run with it, and that makes it, I think, quite an exciting environment to work within. There's always, on a given day, there's always a set of problems, but for every problem there are 10 or 20 or 100 opportunities that we can go after, and that's quite an exciting environment to work within, certainly compared to some of the the corporate environments that I've worked in previously, where the problem really becomes about choosing what you don't do rather than trying to get to things that you want to do. So I think, yeah, there's lots to do, lots of opportunity, all very varied. I think no 2 days are the same, and I think that it always feels like we've just come through kind of the most exciting period, but actually then we find that the next 12 months are even more exciting, even more. 12 months ago, we'd got an idea that maybe we could do some stuff internationally, and now we own a business that's in Europe, and we're present in Australia, and the world is our oyster. So these things tend to move very fast, and I think for someone who enjoys that sort of thing, that's hopefully refreshing, and certainly people can then grow with the business. So I think, yeah, our headcount's due to increase from around 250 just over now to pretty much double that over the next year or so. And clearly the people that are in it's not quite the ground level now, but at least kind of first or second floor will grow with the business as we continue to grow.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I agree. So saving all the other areas are in a similar position as well, aren't they? Not just architects. It's great news for everybody, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is there anything we've missed there that's worth people knowing about, or we've covered it, do you think?
I think we've covered it. I think can't think of anything else. No, I think that.
I think so too. As I'd say to people, we don't go overboard in our process when we recruit people. So there's it's generally you, isn't it, at first stage, to have an informal talk about what they do, and then we're putting in some sort of a technical exercise of some description, but it's really about getting people to use their brains and giving us, something to talk about at a second stage, something a bit more interesting, exciting. And the second stage is usually you again and a couple of other senior people, at least one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this role, it's a problem-solving role. It requires some imagination and some experience. I don't think we can necessarily devise a technical test that just as a cookie cutter, this is what a good architect looks like. It's about experience and an attitude, I think. So a bit of an informal first part of the process, and then we'll bring some more people into it for the second phase.
Yeah, that's great. Good. All right, brilliant. Thanks, Aaron. That's really helpful, and hopefully we'll get people interested and want to come along and talk to you more details. So thanks for today.
Thanks, John.
Good to speak to you as always. Cheers.
Bye-bye.